And we have roll call. Everybody's here. Yes, everybody's here. The next order of business is approving the prior minutes.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have one item for a public hearing and no one signed up. So they're the owners.
Yeah, they're the applicant.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
we're gonna open and then we're gonna close. How about that? So the first item is Jeff and Don Wright request a setback variance regarding a swimming pool the swimming pool location. And their property, I know, is in the Greystone
Yes.
subdivision. Front on Sapphire, the front side is bedrock.
Bedrock, correct.
Okay. So you just what's in the
our they applied for a pool permit, and our building inspector went out and looked at it and noticed that they would have to request a variance because a portion of the pool would be in, and as you look at the plat, it's the landscaping easement and buffer easement. That's the hardship, but because it's on a side lot, a corner lot, and it's slight terrain was the hardship that was being presented.
I know I drove by and looked at it, and I couldn't really see it because it's fenced.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really see the terrain part of it. I looked at the tax map. I looked at the plat, which didn't, help me a whole lot with it. And this is just my concern about it because I couldn't see the topography. I know it has two front yards because it basically has the bedrock and the sapphire, but the pool is going to be at the back of the house.
Correct.
And I know those lots are very small anyway. They're real tight.
Right.
I didn't see anything that would, you have to have a reason, some kind of topography issue or something like that to do it. You have something?
Yes, ma'am. I was looking at it this afternoon and pulled the plat myself and was looking at the easements on the plat. There's a 10-foot public utility easement that goes around the perimeter of the property. And then there's an extra 5 feet for landscaping and a total of 25 feet for screening easement, which is not the screening of in the landscaping is not really an issue, but I've talked to our public services director about the PUD side of it, the public utility side of it, and if you get into that, let's say they put a pool inside that, because they're asking to go with this up to 6 feet from the property line. So if they go 4 feet into that public utility and the utility wants to run, cable or, fiber, or we need it for stormwater, or we need it for wastewater line through there, they would have to tear the pool out.
Right.
So it would be our recommendation that they at least stay out of that 10-foot section, at least with the pool. Now the concrete walk that may go around it would be okay, because that could be torn out, but you're talking about putting something, I take it this is an in-ground pool we're talking.
It is, but the pool's not actually going to be, we're asking for 6 foot, from the property line, but it'll be concrete, beyond that. We're going to put out the property line with concrete. So we were just trying to get it to where it was, not as close to our house.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was asking the planner maybe it would be better if they move it a little closer to their house, at least to stay 10 feet from the wall of your structure of your pool, to be at least 10 feet from your property line. That would keep the pool out of the public utility. Because you wouldn't want to put that much money into a pool and then have some utility come through. So you got to take this out at your expense.
Yeah.
Remove that pool.
Did you say, Jerry, that so you got 10 foot and then a 5 foot easement also?
There's another 5 foot. Yeah, it says for landscaping.
But the 10 foot.
So it is a full utility easement then.
It's for 10 feet.
For 10 feet.
From the property line, 10 foot. There's a public utility easement.
Yeah.
We run into that problem with some neighbors where people will put fences over utility easements, and then we have to have them remove them before we can get in there and do work. If we have to replace a wastewater line, something like that.
If we grant the variance, it doesn't excuse the easement.
No, it doesn't. I just wanted to make sure that they were aware that if this board grants them the easement, that's up to this board to give variances. But I would caution the homeowner that could possibly be a problem for them in the future.
I mean,
And I was just gonna say, there are a couple of, on Bill Moss Road in Holly Tree, White House Utilities, if this development had gone forward, property owner was gonna have to move his pool. Another property owner had to move his shed, because he didn't get a permit for it, but the property owner with the pool, had this development gone through, they would have had to move the in-ground pool, so,
yeah, I went by there myself, so I know the grade, I guess your back fence, and it goes kinda over and then back down.
Yes.
And they've started.
It's kind of a hot spot.
Yeah, there's a hot spot there, so I guess they've started moving dirt back there too, so.
Yeah, I talked to the guys doing the surveying, and they said the part behind our house will be at least 5 years before they even start the construction on that part.
yeah, Bill North Lee's.
Is there an additional easement on that side too?
There would be 10 foot on each side of the property line.
Okay.
That's generally what we ask for when we plat these subdivisions.
Okay, so is it 20 total or 25?
So 20 feet total.
20 feet
But-
total.
That
From
gives
this
them room to
property
get a piece of equipment in there to go through 10 feet's kind of narrow. But when we have 20 feet, I know a lot of people put their fence along property line, but those would have to come up if we had to. Replace a sewer line or if it's a stormwater, it's just a public utility. So it opens it up for just about any type of utility we would have in the city. Natural gas, CEMC, Comcast, all of the ones we have.
Yeah. Just to clarify, is it a 4 foot or 5 foot variance?
It's gonna be, he's
4 foot.
asking 4 foot.
4 foot. Yes. Part of this says 5 foot,
Yeah.
part of it says 4
Yeah,
foot.
the application does have 5 foot on the application.
So it is
Yeah.
4 foot.
Yeah, we wanted 6 foot from the property line.
Yeah.
On our side.
Are you
And that's what
including
the
the
4 foot is,
sidewalk
the
there, sir?
easement.
I
The
mean,
sidewalk will be additional 5 foot, it'll be 1 foot off the property line with just the concrete around it.
okay, so I
So
was
we're supposed to,
thinking,
we're supposed to be 5 feet off our neighbor's side, which we got a ton of room, our backyard's long, it's just narrow.
yeah, right, yeah, I figured it would be a concrete pad around it too, so that would even eat up more of it, but you're mostly concerned about the easement for your pool structure, so,
Yeah.
So the 4 foot's for the pool,
yeah.
and the other part would be the additional concrete, goes even more.
Yeah, it would go, they're going within a foot, they're gonna go within a foot of this line right here with the concrete, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, so if there was ever an issue with utilities, they'd have to take the pool out,
Yeah.
so.
I wouldn't think there would be, considering, it's a high spot in the yard, and it all goes downhill on the other side of the hill going towards Camberton.
Steeper, yeah, it goes
Yeah,
steeper.
I mean, everything drains downhill.
Yeah.
If it were my house, I'd be the guy that'd have to move his pool, but,
Well,
it's just,
more than
I've
likely
always
it'd be
erred on the
too.
side of caution and that kind of thing, but it's,
Yeah.
But why not bring your pool closer to the house so you
Because it
don't?
would put me within 2 feet of my house.
Uh-huh.
The actual pool
The actual pool would be 2 foot from the house.
Hmm.
That's why I was trying to get 6 and 6 on each side, and that way, I got room to, basically go around it and stuff like that.
The other thing we have to deal with too is setting precedents. Did you understand?
I have like about a couple concerns. One is them having to take up concrete if they have to come through. And I know the odds of those things, but there's a reason those easements are there.
Right.
So that's one concern. And the other concern is every home in this development has also small lots. And they all have easements going through them. So,
Yeah, as soon as we allow one, then they're all gonna want one, and,
that's my,
This is a little more unique than the other approvals we've had, being up the property line.
it's interesting because it's a corner lot and it has the little
Terrain.
topography.
Yeah.
But
25 feet on the outside.
anybody have more questions?
But they got 5 foot, we're taking 25 feet. Still have 15 probably.
is that a deck or is that a concrete patio?
Concrete patio.
So, do you come off the side of your house to go down onto that patio?
We're going to come out the backyard, backyard comes to the patio.
So it comes, so you go out, and go down on the patio.
This is the front of their house.
How big is that patio?
Probably 8 feet. 8 feet from that. Yeah, that's the corner of the
8
house.
feet out?
Be 28.
Yeah, it'd be kinda tight, it'd be 10 foot off the house, I think.
Do we have a motion? Do we have more questions? Nancy, I'll try it. I think the struggle is all of us own properties and we all want to be able to do what we want to do with our property, so we empathize.
Oh, I understand.
And so we put ourselves
But I
in
mean,
their shoes.
like I said, there's 25 feet on the other side of the fence too.
It's in somebody else's property, but we're just dealing with your property.
I know, but
Well,
I'm just saying.
I guess what he's saying is 10 foot for utility, 5 foot for landscaping, and then
And then
another
10 foot,
10,
then 10 foot on our
another foot
side,
for
that's,
10 feet for
you know,
utility. So it's a total of 25 feet
Feet.
that are not gonna be touched.
maybe 15 foot, you know, on the other side of our fence, not gonna be that.
Yeah, until somebody decides they wanna put a gas line through there.
Yeah.
And then 25 foot ain't near enough. So, yeah, it's, what's the ordinance on, I know like when I built my garage, I had to be 10 foot off the property line with it, but there was no easement there.
Right, that's why I was saying this is unique from, other, you know, variances that were approved. It wasn't on easement, it was on the property line.
Yeah.
That's
Is there an
what
HOA?
caught my attention was,
Yeah.
in his application, he put.
There's an
easement.
HOA? What does your covenant say?
It doesn't. And it's Midway Stock Zone, we submitted our plan and they've approved it, so.
And the neighbor has a pool too, don't they?
She has a above ground pool. There's several that have, you know, on the main road coming in that have, you know, have pools back there, but, actually, there's any on our street.
Because typically HOAs will dictate, like my neighborhood specifically, we had a covenant, said 20 feet off the property line, but we didn't have an HOA, and that defaulted back to the city requirement, which pushed it back to 10 foot. Our neighbor was supposed to originally had an HOA, but it did not, you know, transpire, so so that's, you know, there's a reason why those are there. You know, we don't want to crowd anybody, you know.
Jerry, did you have something you wanted to add down there?
No, I think that's the only thing I would be concerned with is that if they put something in a public utility, it's subject to removal at their expense. That's my only concern, so.
I just don't think we should gamble on that, though. I mean, if it's a city easement, I mean,
Because what happens if, another example, you know, if they sell the house,
We don't
then,
plan on doing it.
you know, if you sell the house, then and that information is not relayed to the new owner, then that becomes a very sticky situation too, and then they could come back and sue you if you
Right.
didn't.
We don't plan on going anywhere, but,
Yeah. So,
Do we have a motion?
Could that be recorded somewhere where
What?
it's the information about the easement,
The easement is of record. It's
but
just
about
on-
the
on the
potential
plat
issue?
Conflict?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can record just
The
about
fact that it's
anything.
recorded as an easement, that infers the conflict right there.
And there is a property disclosure that has to be given when the house is sold, so they would have to say, we got a variance to put this in, they'd have to disclose that.
I know in our fence ordinance, you know, our fence permits, you know, if a property owner puts their fence or in the easement, then, you know, we have the right to tear it down and the owner have to replace it at their expense. That's happened time or two.
yeah, we're already dealing with that on the commercial piece right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Is there also some kind of requirement that they put a fence around, you know, the?
Pool, yeah.
Yeah,
It has
so
to be
that,
secured, yeah.
so that kids don't fall in
Yeah.
the ground. Doesn't that add some?
That
So-
puts the fence almost on the property line,
Yeah,
but
that
we
would-
talked about that.
You can put it on the
Yeah,
property.
it just would have to be.
we've actually already contracted Lowe's to build a fence.
Easier.
I mean, we've got a fence there, but it's no rickety wood fence.
Yeah.
And, cause we bought this house a year ago, we've been fixing it up, so,
You had a survey done?
yes, we did.
Easier to remove a fence though than concrete.
Yeah, I did that with my own situation, so it was,
Well, actually, my fence between me and my neighbor, if we ever put it in, my fence is 18 inches over on his property line. So we already talked, you know, in that back corner, if we ever put it at an angle. So like you can see the stake there, and I already talked to them about I'm gonna move my fence down the property line, you know, and I'll help them build their fence over to mine. but like I said, my fence is actually on their property, I'm like, yeah, well, when I put up a new fence, I'm gonna put it on my property line, that way.
And he probably could come through and tell you to move it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the only sticky part about that kind of thing. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I mean,
we're moving.
He's moving
we're moving
it.
on my property line.
He's
Yeah,
moving it.
Oh, you're pulling it back.
Yeah, we're pulling it back onto our property line.
He's trying to fix it,
Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
I guess my bigger problem is the precedence would set for the rest of the neighborhood, and, you know, it just, if we grant one, we gotta grant them all.
I don't know that you have to grant them all. I think you can, you know, justify it based on the topography that was discussed, that the yard does slope down. So I don't know that you really are setting a precedent there. I'm more
I wish I
concerned.
could have seen it, I just couldn't see it.
I'm more concerned about the fact that, you know, the easement may come through and you may have to tear out, you know, either the decking around it or the pool itself. But that's more my concern.
Anybody like?
Did you say Northleaf owns the property behind?
I talked to him, and he said that road's gonna come through, on Bedrock eventually, but, he didn't give a timeline, but.
So there'll be a house that backs up to it then.
Or the cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sac and the people behind us will be the back part of their side yard. It'll be their side yard, will be ours.
Basically, like our house is facing the other way.
Yeah. Kind of corner.
Do we know how big those lots are gonna be?
15 or 15, so the same as, same grade, they're 15,000 square foot lot.
Is it gonna be a new subdivision or?
It's just extension of, no, Cambria, it's Cambria.
Okay.
I mean, your neighbor would be able to slip out the bathroom window and jump into your pool, so, yeah. Oh.
Matthew Felton.
Well, as much as I don't want to, I guess I'll be the bad guy and say I make a motion to deny them.
We have a second.
Hate to do it, but.
Oh, no.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I'm sorry, the motion's passed, it's a deny.
I understand. We can still do the 10 foot though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can put out your property.
As long as the pool wall, I mean, the concrete, I don't think it's an issue, is it? Steve, is-
No, as long as he's
Yeah.
pulls a
Concrete
permit.
walkways are considered the same as fences, right?
Yeah, as long as he, I mean, he pulls a permit, your pool guy will pull a permit and stuff.
Yeah, well, actually, we already applied.
One more. We have a motion to adjourn.
The variance, so
Second.
it'll just be, you'll just have to file.
Thank you.
Pick it up on property.
No, I do too.
All right.